Day 3 has arrived, and that means it's time for another review. We're doing quite the international trip, as we are going from Austria to Hungary and now to Spain for the home invasion horror film Sweet Home. The home invasion subgenre is filled to the brim with many titles and clones, with the most effective ones usually being the ones that don't star any major Hollywood actors. When done right, they are hard, uncompromising, and to the core. Much like these examples. The French horror wave with À l'intérieur, also known as Inside in the US, Martyrs, which is unsurprisingly getting an English remake this year, and Haute Tension, also known as Switchblade Romance or High Tension. Other prime examples are the dark horror comedies Funny Games, the Korean film Dream Home, and the confrontational ultra-realistic shocker Sequestrados, also known as Kidnapped. Trust me, they won't be disappointing. Go check them out if you haven't seen them. Sweet Home is the newest film from Filmax, the studio launched in the early 2000s by Julio Fernandez and Brian Jusna. Their biggest success was the found footage scarefest Rec, again remade as Quarantine, which is a more bombastic, stale version of the original. Rec had one of the scariest and atmospheric uses of an apartment building block ever, which ties us back to Sweet Home, as the apartment used in this film oozes dread and atmosphere. Director Rafa Martinez clearly is a fan of the subgenre and uses every trick and cliché on the block. Sweet Home doesn't bring anything new to the table and can be quite predictable, but what it lacks in originality, it fills with style. It's about realty owners hiring sadistic evictors to go beyond scaring away old inhabitants who don't want to move, but instead they kill them and make their deaths look like accidents. A young couple being at the wrong place at the wrong time get locked in, while three men are murdering an old guy and a claustrophobic fight to the death commences. With just 75 minutes long, it doesn't overstay its welcome and it moves at a breakneck speed. The violence is in your face, raw, and often quite bloody. It's beautifully shot with dynamic panning shots, great cinematography, and I love how the dark scenes are lit without any of the blue hues you often see in many films. It has the vibe from genre pictures shot in the 70s, and I really dug the main theme from the soundtrack as well. It immediately drew me in the film. The acting, however, is mostly stale, because the main actress is a Spanish actress forced to speak English for most of the film with a very thick accent. It's kinda distracting, but it didn't annoy me too much because I grew up with a lot of badly dubbed or badly accented Italian horror movies and giallos. So in conclusion, nothing great, but certainly not a bad film. I actually had a lot of fun with this, and I got a soft spot for home invasion films, as they tend to be more rooted in reality and have a raw edge. However, it's easy to predict who lives and dies, but it didn't bother me too much, as it was so beautiful and stylistic to look at. If you like home invasion films or suspenseful thrillers, give this one a try.